Icons can have a big impact on your design project, and in this video I want to share with you some of my favorite icon sets, and I'm also going to share with you some of the pros and cons of each, as well as tips and tricks that I learned over the many years that I've been working as a UI UX and web designer. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, I want to start the video by giving you my very best advice when it comes to using and adding icons in your design files, and that is to use one of these softwares, these icon managers that are going to enable you to basically drag and drop the icons inside of your design files. This is something which I really wished I knew when I first started out, especially because I would always go on the website, search for the icon, download the icon, go and look for the icon in the downloads folder, and then drag and drop it. While if you have something like the Nucleo icon organizer or Icon Jar, which you can get both for free, it's going to be super easy, and I want to show you exactly what I'm referring to. So I have this Figma file opened, and I'm going to use Nucleo to basically search for an icon, and I can literally drag and drop it directly into the Figma file. So this is huge, and this would be my very best piece of advice when it comes to using icons. But let's get that out of the way. Let's start talking about some of the most famous and used icon sets, and what are the pros and cons, which I think, because I've been using so many icon sets over the years, and I am now sticking to only a few of them. And the reason being is that you only want to use the ones which basically are giving you the most bang for your bucks. So the very first one, and the one that I use most of the time when I'm designing stuff, it's going to be the Nucleo icon organizer. And I not only have Nucleo icons, which are premium, they cost quite a bit, but I think they're so worth it. But anyways, if you want to go with the free route, you can always get the Google Material icons, for example, which is totally free. And if you go over here on the website and you look for icons, you can see that you can get like the premium one, but forget the premium ones. There's also going to be other ones which are free. And another great alternative for looking for free icons is Icon Jar. So very similarly to what Nucleo Icons does, I have here Icon Jar open. And as you can see, I can browse through the different icons. I can drag and drop them. So this is a huge plus in my agenda, and actually in something that I definitely want to have as a fixed thing in 2020. I don't want to go in a website and like manually search for them. But yeah, Icon Jar is great. And if you have a look at the resources, you're going to be able to find all sorts of different icon sets. And of course, here there are the free ones, you can go on the premium ones. But for the most part, the free are going to be quite a bit. I normally don't use these ones though, and the reason being is that whenever I'm working on a project, I wanted to use an icon set which is really big. So maybe for one-off icons, so stuff like this, which is more illustrational type of icons, I could go with a smaller icon set. But generally speaking, when it comes to covering a wide use of UX interactions and things of that nature, I would highly recommend you to search for an icon set which is quite extensive, which is quite big and flexible. So if you need a settings icon, you get it, but if you need something even more niche, you're also going to be covered. So definitely something to keep in mind. Now let's move to the next ones, which we already briefly mentioned, and this is the classic milestone icon, if you wish. So the famous Google Material icons. These are kind of like the classic UI design, UX design icons. So you can't really go wrong with using these. They're quite expandable, and again, you can simply like click on these. You can download them as SVGs, but I would highly recommend you to use IconJar or NucleoIcon instead. So, or actually instead, but together, meaning that you can use NucleoIcons, have here the set of Google Material icons, then you can just drag and drop them onto your files. So let's go ahead and let's continue with the next icons, which are flat icons. And with flat icons, you can also get this Mac software app, which you can see over here. And again, it's great because you can literally like drag and drop the icons on top of the sketch file, of the Sketch or Figma file. And it's overall a great thing to have. But one thing to consider when it comes to flat icons is that I don't really like the fact that there's a lot like that. If you're using this app, you're going to find icons with all sorts of different styles. This can be really good. Like I use flat icon quite a bit for one-off icons. So things like, I look for Facebook, and I'm going to find like all sorts of different Facebook logo icons and things like that. But for the most part, I don't really see a lot of value in using like flat icons for an entire project really as my main icon set, simply because I don't really like to have all sorts of like different icons with different styles. So usually what you want to do is for example, you go over here, you use this essential set icon pack, and you would only use this one for your entire design project, so that you have a lot of consistency when it comes to the icons. Now let's go on to the next one, which is an icon set which I recently discovered. I think it's available from the MIT. So yeah, and this one are pretty cool. You can literally like just copy them and use them in, or you can download. So yeah, it's pretty cool overall. But again, I haven't found any like integration when it comes to using these icons in Nucleo or in IconJar. So that's definitely something to consider, and I wouldn't really use them all that much. So the other icon set is Icon Finder, which is quite a famous icon finder. So basically you can go over here and search for any icons, and you can literally just grab any one of these, but for the most part you would need the premium account, and this would take a little bit of extra cash investment. So definitely something to consider. The free ones are not as many as the premium ones. Now let's move on with the very next one, which is Icon Moon. Again, very similar to Icon Finder and some of the other ones. It's quite common, but I don't really like the fact that you have to select the icons and just then click on generate SVG and more. Have to go here and download SVG. It just takes quite a bit of time. I worked on a project with like 100 screens for a client in the past, and they really wanted to use this icon set, but I wouldn't recommend it because it takes a lot of time. Although the icons are fine, they're pretty good, but I wouldn't really recommend it. Then we have Noun Project, which is a humongous library of icons, and Noun Project is great for all sorts of different icons, which are basically, that's funny they didn't add the R, which are basically like one-off icons, and you can find like all sorts of different icons. I have the subscription, but I rarely use it. I only use it in cases where I can't really find any icons in the previous ones, and then I'm kind of like I really need some more variety. So that would be the case where I would use a Noun Project. Now let's move on to the next one for this video, which is going to be Font Awesome. And Font Awesome is cool. I think they had also some free icons. And the great thing about it is that if you pay for the premium, you have like all sorts of different style of icons. So this is definitely something to consider, and it's really easy to use with to integrate in web and things like that. And they have like a really huge library of icons. So yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to this video, and hope it was useful. If you liked it, please leave a thumbs up or a comment if you have any questions, because this really helps me to be motivated to create like more videos, and if I see the reactions, so that would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, if you're interested in UI UX design or any things around freelancing and things like that, on my YouTube channel I have over 300 videos. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check it out. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.